Hey everyone, welcome back to this wild and wacky world we're living in. I just want to be able to give you some guidance and support in these times. The reason I make videos is because I recognize there's a lot of confusion going on out there. And typically what happens is, when we start seeing beyond the veil, when we wake up and we realize, you know what, life isn't what I thought it was. It can be really exciting, endless possibilities, like you're waking up from the matrix, whatever you want to call it. But there's also a lot of fear that comes from, okay, now what do I do? That clearly the way that I was living or what I was taught wasn't right, but what the hell do I do now? So I want to chat with you about that today. And as you can see in the video, to me, this life is always wild and unpredictable and impermanent and all the things, but this year has been particularly crazy for a lot of people, and loss of life and jobs and separation and isolation and depression. But as far as I've seen, there's only two possible things that have been happening and can be happening. And there's kind of this fork. What I'm seeing is there are people that are going this way more and more, and there are people that are going this way. And chances are, if you're watching this video, you're probably going this way, and I'll talk about what this way is and not going this way. And maybe you're seeing people around you go this way, and you probably know what I mean at this point. So when the pandemic first hit, there was so much confusion. Even for myself, I was like, had just moved back to Colorado. I didn't really know what to expect. We were living with a few people, and all of a sudden, I remember my birthday hit. It was March 13th, and suddenly it was like lockdowns. I got to Colorado March 1st, and I had court the next day, or maybe I got that day before. I had court the next day, got my divorce finalized, and then within 2 weeks, I was planning a little birthday get-together, and then pretty much the whole country shut down. And no one really knew what to expect, and there was a lot of fear and confusion, understandably. But when I really tuned in with myself, what I started to actually kind of get excited about was like, wow, everything that I've been preparing for my entire life has been leading to this moment. So learning how to grow my own food, how to take care of my health, how to understand fear in a way that it doesn't get to me, how to be able to enjoy just being present with time, how to be okay with the unpredictable, just getting strong. All these different things were starting to make perfect sense. Being in a place that was beautiful and surrounded by nature, like manifesting a life that made sense. And I was seeing a lot of people go through this state of fear and confusion and just worry and isolation and just getting deeper into drugs and alcohol and depression and Netflix and just diving deep into that world. And while I have complete understanding for why somebody would go in that, to me this going deeper into fear when these things happen, it just really it just highlighted and showed where people are at. And there's nothing wrong with wherever you're at, and I still go into fear at times, and I think fear is a thing that we all have the ability to experience. But the difference is, how can you take that fear and transmute it? How can you go deeper into that fear? So the people going this way, are the ones that are like, wow, okay, maybe my life wasn't great before, and this pandemic has really shown me what matters. There's so much talk in the world of we need to be careful and we need to isolate, and then there's all this talk about the depression that comes with isolation from people. And it's like, yeah, but you need to do your duty, and you need to wear a mask, and you need to protect other people. From my perspective, I wear a mask when I need to wear a mask to go into stores and stuff, but I do my best to avoid places that require masks because I'd rather just be out in nature, and I can hug a tree and I'm not going to give the tree a virus or whatever. But from my experience, and this feels very aligned with everything that I've learned over the years, is that if you take care of yourself and if you have trust, you will be okay. The reason we have so many cases and people getting sick is because our country is extremely unhealthy. And yes, there are people with existing conditions and all these things, but there's so much poor health in our country, and there's so much fear. And when I hear about the virus, and I hear, all these different, there's all these weird transmutations, and there's all these weird side effects, and some people can't taste, and there's all these different things. So much of that is precipitated, I guess is the word, by fear, because our life isn't actually solid. We think that we're living in this really deep, solid reality. But when we step back and we go deeper and deeper and deeper into what is actually going on, you recognize that this physical reality isn't what we thought it was. And just a quick note on that. So the reason that I started this Patreon page is I don't really think about it as a Patreon so much as guidance and mentorship. So it's kind of a pay what you want, $3 or more. Anything you pay, you get full access. And February 1st, I'm launching the course to actually help deepen this practice for you. So it's going to be a month-long course, and even though the course typically costs a lot more, I'm doing a beta test, so anyone that signs up gets, for $3, $5, whatever you want to pay, you get access to this course. We're going to do live streams, there's going to be videos, meditations, exercises, movement exercises. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm recognizing that there's only so much I can share on YouTube. And there's people that like things and dislike things and comment, but there's this disconnect. And what I found is I like to create a real connection. So this guidance and mentorship page that I have, and you can click the link below to check it out, is the first step in that deeper connection, to connect to yourself, to connect with other people, to connect with me and have more guidance in your life. And then ultimately I'm looking at getting land and being able to do more retreats and workshops as things open up, so people can actually come in person and experience this. Because we only have this one life to live. And that's when the pandemic hit, it's like you can either go deeper into fear, or you can actually start looking at your life and say, maybe my life wasn't what I wanted it to be. I know a lot of people that lost their jobs that were very upset and lost in their businesses, and that's obviously sucks and is unfortunate. And then I see this other side of people that were like, well, I wasn't doing what I loved, and then the pandemic forced me to look at what is essential. The pandemic forced me to look at what really matters, and now I'm gardening more, and I'm playing guitar, and I'm learning new skills, and I'm cooking. I have my cousins, they're like growing their own food inside their house now, and they're cooking every single meal, and like they're finding and tuning into these pieces of themselves that they didn't have before. And at the end of the day, if you tune in and you're alive and you can breathe and you have the basics covered, you don't need that much. So the pandemic kind of forced people to really look at what was essential and go back to what matters. And I'm not blaming people for going deeper into fear and paranoia and all these things. I completely get it. But at the same time, at some point, it's like, this is the one life you have to live in this body. Regardless of what you believe about afterlives or other things, this is our one opportunity to live this life as we see possible. And the deeper we tune into this life, the deeper we get into this state of flow, the deeper we understand, that we're actually in control. And it's funny because you can say by like letting go of control, you actually gain this new sense of, control is not even the right word, but this sense of flow and trust, right? I was talking to a friend the other day, and doing this tarot reading recently, and Aj and I keep getting this card, Control. And to me, like, having an identity, having a life, there's so much that we want to control. We want to box ourselves into something. We say, this is who I am, this is what I believe, this is my opinion, this is what I look like, this is how I dress, this is my whatever. And that's fine. However, the harder we try to hold on to something that isn't permanent, because the illusion that we have of ourselves is not real. It's just this made up thing. We're infinite. We're freaking grand and amazing. But the harder we hold on to this false identity of self, the more we suffer when those things don't actually align. The more we want things and we demand them and we try to do anything we can to have things turn out perfect, the less we actually tune into this greatness that life is. I mean, life is beautiful. Sitting here in the jungle in Costa Rica, I'm amazed every day. And I'm amazed because I've been designing my life in this way. And that's why I started this whole mentorship program in general, is because I recognized that, like, this isn't about me, Like, I didn't just come to this planet just to live and have a good time, but I'm here to share. Because the more people that align with this space, and if you're out there and you're feeling like there's this new possibility, but you don't have direction, you feel all alone in that, and no one else gets you, it's like, you're not alone. I promise you that. My life used to be, it was just me for a while. When I kind of first woke up, I was like, whoa, there's no one here, no one gets me, no one understands, and it got very scary and depressing. And then over time, as I started to get more clarity and connect with more people, I'm like, oh, this is actually the norm now. The norm is being around people that can have these conversations for me. The norm is being around other people that understand and that aren't going into fear, and you design your life in that way. And the more you attract those things, the more you line up with those things, the more your life shows up in a way that makes sense. So regardless of what your beliefs are about the pandemic and the fears that you might go into, first off, again, I get it. There's a ton of fears. And I haven't spent that much time talking about coronavirus because to me it's like the ultimate challenge in life. And everything I look at is a sense of challenge. So to really predicate that, I'm not someone that fears death. And I think to look at your ego, to look at the person that you think you are, the person that I've spent my whole life believing and creating this character, once I let that go, it doesn't mean I don't still have an ego or an identity, but I'm not attached to it. I'm not scared of dying. I'm not even scared of pain, because I know that everything that happens to me is happening exactly as it needs to be. So whatever happens is perfect, and I can attract and not attract the things I need and don't need. And if something comes that surprises me, that's part of the journey. Every day I'm surprised. Things that I'm working on, actually, we're about to go into this 3-week complete digital detox. So you won't be seeing videos for the next 3 weeks. There's going to be not just no like internet, but no phones, no connection to the outside world. Doing some fasting, just like very going inward, completely disconnecting from anything but ourselves, but nature, and just really tuning in and getting very deep into that space. Because I've seen what the body can do when it's tuned in. And technology has a benefit to get us to a certain place, but at some point it's like we are so much more than the things that we thought that we were. And sometimes we just have to tune in to get clear and connected to like this magic that is life. So yeah, for 3 weeks I'll be offline, and then when I come back I'm hitting this mentorship course hard. So if you do sign up for my Patreon page now, you'll see there's lots of videos already, and there's different things to help guide you. So leading up into the month, you get free access to my book, which is a great, before you start the course, if you want to start reading the book, that will really launch you into this space. And I think I've just seen, there's a lot of coaches out there that, and mentors and that do programs and that charge a lot of money, thousands of dollars a month, and I get that, and people can do whatever they want, but when I really look at everything in my life, I want to be able to give people something that's affordable, something that actually makes sense. It's like with Brothers Green, when I did that How to Live on $3 a Day, that video was our biggest video ever at that point, and it launched us into a whole different level. And I saw that if I could teach people how to eat very cheaply, that something might shift. And I didn't make the video trying to make it like some viral thing, but suddenly it spread like wildfire, and people still come up to me on the streets and say how much they appreciated that video. And now kind of transcending out of the cooking space and focusing more just on life in general, even though food is a beautiful piece of that, I'm saying if I can share this information with you, with anyone that maybe can't afford the super expensive coaching programs, and there are people that can, and that's great, and they do that. But if I can share the same information and really empower you to live a good life, and you don't have to spend that much money to do it, cool. Because I don't need that much to live. So if I can have a small group of people that are helping to support what I'm here to do, and that's cool with me. I'm not looking to make millions and millions of dollars. I really don't need that much. And everything that I do, even like any money that I'm trying to make to support this, to get land, is all for this vision, to be able to help people feel more connected. Because I feel this calling deep within me. The more I tune in, it's like, why am I here? If you ask yourself that question, who am I? Why am I here? Things become very clear for me when I just sit with that. And while I can have some semblance of understanding for people in the pandemic and the confusion that goes on, I'm not someone that's going to be controlled by the illusion of fear. I'll do my part, but to me my part is to remind you that you are whole and complete, and that if you take care of yourself, and even if you're not healthy right now, start. Every day is the best day to invest in your life. If you take care of yourself, life will make sense. And if I can show you, hey, I'm living a good life, I'm not some perfect genius superhero human, I'm just a person, I'm not anyone that's special. I don't have any special gifts or things that you can't attain. I saw a quote recently. Someone said if your mentality or your vision or your mission or like your ideas and programs can't benefit everyone, what good are they really? And I thought about it, and it's like, if what you're sharing, if what someone online is sharing is only available to the few, cool, I get that. But the things that I'm sharing here are for anyone. This has nothing to do with opportunities, with privilege, with space. It's like, over time, the more you look at your life and you see the fullness that you are, your life will continue to shift. You might not be where I'm at right now, but when coronavirus hit, I was like, wow, this all makes sense now. I've spent the last 10 years working on myself to be in a place where I'm not in a state of fear and to be in full trust. And it takes time to get to that place, but the best time to start is right now. So any situation you're in, you can grow, you can evolve, you can change, and you can tune in to all the amazingness that is life. And then suddenly all the things, all the superpowers that you envied as a kid with Superman or Harry Potter or whatever, suddenly those things are like, they stay fantasy, but you're like, wow, life is actually magical. I can manifest things that I want. I can heal myself with my body. I don't need to put my hands in the faith of other people that I don't know. There's so much out there of like, we just need to trust science. We need to trust science. We need to trust science. It's like, but science is expansive and it's vast, and that's why there's confusion. Like, you got to trust science, but science is continually, it's contradicting itself all the time. So I'm not saying you should or shouldn't trust science, but rather to look at the fact that if you're feeling confused, science in a lot of ways becomes religion. And there are things that science has done that's really beautiful, but there's also all these people butting heads. Well, this is the way to do it, and this is the way to do it. And it's like quantum physics says this, and general relativity says that, and it's always changing. And when new information comes out, it shifts. And we're like, okay, well, this is the way now. So whatever you believe, I'm not here to debunk things. I'm not here to say science is real or it's not real or whatever. That has nothing to do with this conversation. What it comes down to is the fact that there's a lot of confusion out there. When you read a news article, when you read something in the media, you have to be able to discern for yourself. When you hear about, oh, there's a vaccine coming, or there's a cure, or like, things are gonna get worse, or these people are dying, it's like you need to be able to discern for yourself and not just listen to what other people are saying based in fear. Because if somebody's touting something, somebody writes an article, or there's someone goes on the news and says something, if you can tell that they're coming from a state of fear, it's only gonna keep you more in the vibration of fear. And the deeper you stay in that vibration, the deeper that will go. And again, everyone has a right to feel whatever they want, but you have a choice, right? And when you let go of, okay, I need to give away my power just because somebody else has a degree or they seem smart, then you can discern for yourself. Then you can decide, okay, what they said, that scientific thing, that makes sense to me, or that doesn't. But if you're just giving away your power, it's like you're just opening yourself up for all kinds of energies that aren't going to serve you. So find ways to tune into that. The Patreon page that I'm doing, this page here, is to help you in that step, but this is your own life. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but rather to show you that when you tune into your own ability to understand and discern, that you start to get empowered in your life. And it's that empowerment that changes everything. Fired up sometimes. I mean, this year has been so many things, but I would say it's been the best year of my life, honestly. And I've gone through a lot. I left my business last year. I left my marriage. I went through a divorce this year. I've moved. I've made lots of changes. Pandemic hit, and it's been the best year of my life. And I feel the best I've ever felt. Physically, I feel the best I've ever felt. Mentally, in the work that I'm doing, and it's all because I finally just went like this. I just let it go. I started to trust that flow, the way that things fall, they're in flow. And I talk about this a lot because the information I'm sharing, I'm not trying to share all these different things every time. I'm just drilling in the same thing. Know yourself, think for yourself, get clear on who you are. Don't just blindly listen to things, because we're here to live, to transcend. We're brought into this world of fear, not because the world is a bad place, but because we actually have the ability to grow. That's how we grow. We go through these hardships so we actually grow and get to be bigger. If we didn't have hardships, we would just stay the same. So remember that. Take care of yourself. Please know that I love you. No matter what situation you're in right now, life is here for you.